Hello folks, this is BoneCanoe86 here with a special announcement for everybody, and if you read the title of this video, you probably already know what I'm about to announce. I've recently completed my Let's Play of a Super Mario thing, which I enjoyed doing considerably even if it had far fewer viewers than my regular simulation game content. In this spirit, I want to start LPing one platformer at a time, along with everything else that I do on my channel. I want to do more Mario hacks for sure, but I want to intersperse them with other platforming and platform-esque games. So now I am proud to announce to you the very next Let's Play that I will be doing. This Let's Play will be Sonic the Hedgehog. Yes, the famous debut of the Blue Hedgehog, originally released for the Sega Genesis, or Mega Drive if you prefer, in 1991. For the longest time I wrestled with the idea of LPing Sonic games. This wrestling has gone on since the very beginning of my career as an LPer back in early 2009. On the one hand, Sonic is one of the most over-LP'd games on YouTube, and I doubted my ability to give it an original spin. After all, Something Awful Cybershell 13 has done what could arguably be called the definitive Sonic LP, and Sir Ron Lionheart has done his own Sonic LP that is close to the hearts of many, including myself. On the other hand, the original Sonic series has a very special place in my heart and my life story, and I feel that I would not be true to myself and my viewers if I did not play this very important game. As you can see, the later perspective has finally won out, for Sonic is very important to me. If you allow me this indulgence, I'm going to take you back to my childhood for a moment, back to the year 1993. I know my demographic, and I'm aware many of you weren't even born yet. However, I was 7 years old, in first grade at the local elementary school, and at that time I barely understood what a video game was. The previous year around Christmas, my mom had bought a Sega Genesis, but not for games. There was a thing out there called the Miracle Piano Learning System. They came out for both the Sega Genesis and Super Nintendo. My mom intended to teach herself piano on this program, which didn't work out, but had the very interesting consequence of starting my own musical life. But that's a story for another time. Anyway, in March of 1993, my mom brings home this game called Sonic the Hedgehog 2. Neither I, nor my mom, nor my 3-year-old sister knew what to make of this game. If I remember correctly, the very first thing my mom did was run forward until she hit the very first enemy of the game, a jumping metal fish, getting a nasty shock when the fish hurt Sonic. "I guess we're not supposed to touch those," my mom said. Anyway, there's only so much interest a person like my mom can have in a video game, so it rapidly became my thing. In a very short span of time, I overcame the initial unfamiliarity and became a pro at the game, beating it again and again. I still recall the horror of hearing the sound and seeing the countdown that indicated Sonic was about to drown in Act 2 of Chemical Plant. I'm sure all of you around my age know exactly what I mean. So after a while I accumulated all the Sonic games, including the original first game, Sonic 3, and eventually Sonic & Knuckles shortly after it came out in October of 1994. I also got spin-off games such as Sonic Spinball and Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine. I watched with an almost religious zeal the Sonic the Hedgehog cartoon, the one people now call Sonic Sat AM, which ran from 1993 to 94. I can't overstate how important this franchise was in my life. More than any other gaming franchise, this is what shaped me as a young person. More than SimCity, more than The Sims, and more than Civilization. It was the Sonic franchise that was close to my heart. In the late 90s, time and trends move on, but I stayed behind. In my middle school years, when all my friends were playing their Nintendo 64s or PlayStations, I was still on my Sega Genesis. Though I had mostly moved on to the realm of PC gaming by 2000 when I started high school, I still play my Sega Genesis once in a while, clear up to my graduation in 2004. I still have my now 18-year-old Sega Genesis, and it still works, albeit only some of the time, and with only some games, and even then only after a considerable amount of coaxing. I was aware throughout my teenage years that new Sonic games were coming out for new systems, and all sorts of new characters were appearing. I even had a little cousin, he's 20 now, who was an avid fanboy of the Sonic franchise in the early 2000s. But this interested me very little. Characters like Shadow the Hedgehog and whoever else is out there these days don't mean a thing to me. To me, there are only 4 Sonic characters: Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, and Robotnik. Sonic games are 2D, 16-bit platformers, and the word furry is solely an adjective to describe something that has fur. I am not part of the Sonic fandom as it currently stands. Rather, I see myself as an old-school appreciator of a series of platform games that had special meaning to me when I was a child. It is in this spirit that I present to you my very own Let's Play of Sonic the Hedgehog. It might not be the most original thing I can do, but to me doing this is very meaningful. I wanted to make this separate video to tell you all this so I wouldn't clutter up the first episode of the Let's Play with explanations, backstory, and sentimentality. I want to make the Let's Play just me playing the game, as an overgrown 25-year-old child enjoying himself. I hope you will enjoy it too. If I like how the first game comes out, I might even go ahead and do other games in the series in the future. But for now, it is time to play the first game in the series, the game that started it all. It's time to play Sonic the Hedgehog.